Yeah, it resonated with me. It was like, why do I feel all these fucking different fucked up sensations? I don't like, he says heavy eyes, or I feel all around here and fucking the bladder and shit like that. And I think it's because I'm overthinking or anticipating the sensation. But you can't think when that shit happens, and it's crazy. Like I just want to jump out of my body and my mind, because what it does is you start thinking about it, and you start trying to get rid of it, and then the amygdala is activated. Once the amygdala is activated, then you want to feed more of it. That's why I've been watching. If you've watched any of my past videos, stupid videos with stupid people that have got me mad. Because what happens when your amygdala is activated is you want to feed it more. So you want more drama, you want more suffering. It's like a drug. You're addicted to that suffering. How come? I don't know. Like, we all want dopamine and that type of shit. Like, yeah, if you smoke a lot of weed, you get that, I suppose. I mean, even Ritalin makes me feel, especially in the first 2 hours, I get like a dopamine kind of feeling, like a really sharpness in my attention. And that's why sometimes you can take more than you're supposed to. Now, I don't anymore. Like, I know now I can't do that because, if you take a lot, obviously it could speed up your fucking heart. My heart rate's been up to like fucking over like 150, 200 times. Because I was taking Ritalin and sniffing coke at the same time. Plus, I was fucking taking Xanax. And that slows it down, so it's like the system's up and down and up and down. It's like crazy shit. Maybe I'm paying for, my stupid choices in the past of all the drugs that I've taken. Like, I've taken a fucking lot, man. Anyone knows me, like, yeah, weed was the most. I was a fucking stoner to the fullest. Like, that's why obviously I notice. Like, I watch my video back and I notice I slur a lot, and that's because probably the weed. Because I've heard that if you smoke weed from a young age, that I started off when I was 12 or 13 with the skunk. It can damage your brain as you get older, your cognitive functioning and stuff like that. Whether that's true, I don't fucking know. Because when I stopped smoking weed, I felt clear as fuck. I read like 2 books in one night. That was what I was on. I was fucking training every day, reading 2 books in one night. Like, real shit. Like, my concentration level was up. You know, how come is, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, why do we do the same fucking things day after day? And think, oh, it's the same old shit. It's always the same. How come I read all these self-help books and still I can't get out the fear bubble? I can't get out of my own bubble. I don't want to go into the unknown. And that's what creates anxiety. But we listen to all this, and people are telling this on YouTube, giving us all this lip service about it. And we're like, okay, let's try the unknown. Let's get out the fear bubble. Let's try something new. And you just end up automatically going to your automatic habits that has been with you for ages. Like, you do the same thing pretty much all day. You run into the same people day after day. How come you don't step out of this matrix? Is, I really don't fucking know. And why I said that is my lips were sticky as fuck now. My lips feel sticky as fuck, like this stuck together. They're paralysed. If you notice, you see my lip like moving like. It's crazy. I had to make this video. That's a good place to do it. You can buy these for like 15, £10 on eBay. I've actually got a few, man. I'm gonna check out my eBay channel. Comics, lots of vintage comics, Star Wars, Hulk, Thor, the old Star Wars, like, you know, the original weekly ones. I got loads of them for sale at discount price. Sunglasses. That's a great hustle for now. As I've started doing sunglasses because it's summertime. So it's like in the winter I always buy umbrellas, like big bulks of umbrellas, man. You make money. You can fucking trifecta your profit on that. Yeah, like anything that's like, you know, like shirts, you know, like this shirt, man. I make it myself. Basically, every shirt, every fucking hoodie I wear, I design that myself, and then get it printed off onto a clothes printer machine. And I sell some of them. You can go on my website and find out. I've got quite a few shirts for sale. WWE figures, they're very popular. I mean, I went off wrestling a long fucking time ago because you just can't see me. No, it's fucking that shit, man. Like, how come they said it's supposed to be like Hulk Hogan, like he's supposed to be the baby face, supposed to be cheered. But let's go Cena. Cena sucks. Like, what? How come? I really don't know. It's like the same happens with that new guy. Who is it? Roman Reigns. He kind of following Cena a bit, but I've noticed recently. I watched it because I got BT Sport. He's actually like a heel now. He's like gone back to his Samoan heritage, like he's the tribal chief. And I was like, that's what he's supposed to always be. Like Roman Reigns always supposed to be that. I dig that. Like he's going into his family heritage. And I noticed Roman Reigns had that aggression in him, because I watched a match he had with Sheamus, and I think it was at a pay-per-view. And he got screwed, and he went fucking absolutely fucking mad. Just kicked the fuck out of Sheamus, and it was like the League of Nations or something, like Rusev. Fucking Alberto Del Rio, who fucking was fucking that woman from that movie Fighting with a Family. Was it Paige? She don't wrestle anymore. And then kicked the fuck out of Triple H, who's now the CEO. I mean, he has that mean streak in him, and like, turn him fucking heel, man, and he will be a star. And that's what they missed with Roman Reigns. Like, trying to make him a new Cena. Now with this tribal chief stuff, I've only watched like one episode, and I'm digging it. Like, I'm thinking, yeah, that's how Roman Reigns is always supposed to be. You know, he was always supposed to be this heel. Like, John Cena's the only guy who really like. And it should be like that, really. He's the only guy where it's because, you know, everyone knows wrestling isn't real. So when you try and be a good guy, it just don't fucking work, man. It just don't. People just see through that shit. That's why, you know, people started booing Hogan. I remember I used to fucking watch wrestling all the time, and that's why Hogan turned heel to the NWO. And on WCW at Bash at the Beach, Obviously, I didn't watch it while it was happening, but I've watched all them episodes because I got WWE Network like a couple of years ago. I just watched all the fucking old episodes of WCW and Raw as well, because them days you were just fucking off the hook, and I was addicted. How come? I don't know. And that goes to the question is, that's why Stone Cold Steve Austin came in. Because people were sick and tired of having been insulted, having their intelligence insulted. And whether or not that fucking Bret Hart shit with Shawn Michaels, where Shawn gets him in the sharpshooter and he really gets screwed because he's going to the different company, WCW. And whose side am I on that? Was it a work? Like a masterwork? If you heard of a wrestler called Brian Pillman, basically what he did is he quit WCW and everyone thought he was this loose fucking cannon. He was this crazy person. And Eric Bischoff, who actually ran WCW, actually was agreed with Brian Pillman. Yeah, we're gonna make you look like this loose cannon. You go to ECW, you start doing all this crazy shit on telly, saying fuck you, Eric Bischoff, and all that. I'm a free agent. Then you're supposed to come back to WCW. But what he did is he worked the work. He swerved the work. Basically, that he was a master, Brian Pillman. And basically, he actually worked Eric Bischoff. He fooled him because basically he did actually work him. He did actually become the loose cannon because he joined the WWF, and that weren't the plan. He was supposed to do the shit in WCW, pretend that he was joining WWF, then go back to WCW. But he worked and swerved them all. Even that, Wrestling Observer guy, David Meltzer, he swerved him, and he's a very hard guy to swerve. But yeah, he worked the fucking thing, and that's when all the smart marks were getting into it. Especially like ECW was full of the smart marks. Like that was one of my favourite shows to watch, is ECW, because if you're a wrestling fan, obviously you think of ECW, you think chair shots, barbed wire, set on fire, New Jack coming in and fucking stabbing up mass transit and all other crazy shit. Nah, man, there's got some great wrestling matches on it. Watch Eddie Guerrero versus Dean Malenko, them set of matches, and set of matches with Rey Mysterio and Psychosis when they were in it, and some of the matches with Rob Van Dam and fucking Jerry Lynn. Classic matches. Yeah, let's talk wrestling for a bit, man. I'm really, take my mind off things a bit, Yeah, so that's why they did it with Stone Cold. They're like, wrestling fans was like, and Hulk Hogan and everyone else, and the Shawn Michaels and stuff like that. I was like, how come people are booing me? I'm supposed to be the good guy. Just spot there. I'm getting old. I'm past it. I need to go to a nursing home and get looked after for the rest of my life. Yeah, so sorry, I'm gonna slow down a bit anyway. I was a bit hyped before. I'm just telling you my pain. I'm just sharing my pain. I do want people to respond to this video over that. You can put your thumbs down as much as you want and tell me that I'm a crazy, delusional, unstable fucking wanker, which I am. Don't get me wrong, I am. I'm an accident. Like I said in the first series of the video, is why did my dad and my mum do what they did? You know what I mean? They fucked up by creating an accident. Because I am a big fucking accident, I'm telling you. The biggest accident ever. So you can say anything you want about me, because I say worse to myself. Trust me, I am my biggest critic. I fucking hate myself sometimes. Anyway, yeah, so how could like Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart at the time was getting like booed, and like people like Austin, who was supposed to be like the bad guy, doing Austin were doing things, you know, what the heels do, like cheating and fucking beating people up for no reason, breaking into people's houses. The one where Brian Pillman gets a gun. Austin does that, but people start using foul language and saying "fuck you" to all the referees. But people see that the common person, and that's how I saw it. The common person, you're like, yeah, man, this is what you want. This is my fucking. This is who I want to cheer. I want to cheer the guy who don't give a fuck, who's saying fuck you to the authorities and don't take shit from the fucking boss and doesn't give a fuck whether you like him or not. And Austin did everything in his power for people to hate him, but people just fucking loved him. And the one of the best matches ever was the match at WrestleMania 13 between Stone Cold and Bret Hart. That really told you everything about the psychology of wrestling. That is just perfect, the way that match came out with the turn, because that's when the real turn happened, when Bret became the real heel and Austin, everyone started. I mean, before that, people was fucking on Austin's side, but then Austin turned into this real biggest babyface of all time, in my opinion. And you know, when Austin was on top, I mean, wrestling was. That's when I watched it. When Austin was on top and doing all this crazy shit with Vince McMahon, like kidnapping him and putting a gun to his head, and then bang, 316. Vince McMahon just pissed himself. It's fucking hilarious. And that cement incident, and where he drove the Zamboni into the fucking ring, and then with The Rock, he gave him the beer bath. He comes in the beer truck and fucking sprays them all with a fucking beer and shit like that. He did loads of shit, man. The favourite one with Austin is what with Booker T in the fucking grocery store. You know, when he price check on the jackass. How come they did that? How come they fucked up a grocery store? How come I did that with my brother? We actually did that. We watched that. We went to Sainsbury's and started doing that for 15 minutes. We had to pay like, what was it, like 30, 40 quid. Because we were fucking. I was fucking smashing tomato over him, putting him in a trolley and throwing him into the shelf and spraying him with fucking garlic sauce and all that shit, and fucking putting pickles in his eye and putting nappies on him and saying, oh, here you go, baby, oh, the baby, oh, and then throwing milk all over him, and fucking concerto with the Edge and Christian concerto. I concertoed him with eggs, and everyone was watching like, what the fuck's going on? It didn't look like a real fight, but he just decided to do it one day in Sainsbury's because of that supermarket incident with Austin and Booker T. It was fucking hilarious, man. I love that one. I mean, how come they did that? I mean, they don't have to pay fucking thousands or whatever to do that. I don't know. But yeah, that era in wrestling was great. I mean, if I go into my favourite matches, obviously, depends who you are. Do you like the technical wrestling matches, the technical wrestlers like Benoit? I mean, how come Benoit did what he did to Nancy and his kid is despicable, and what got into Benoit, and that question always remains, I really don't know. But yeah, Benoit, I love Benoit's wrestling matches. Kurt Angle, the matches he had with Angle were just like one of the best matches of all time. The technical wrestling. Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, um, Perry Saturn, the Eliminators, that tag team Eliminators. Yeah, them wrestlers, even Edge and Mysterio, like them set of wrestling, technical wrestling matches. Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, they put on clinics as well, like just crazy, like perfect wrestling matches. You got them type of matches. Then you've got like the electrifying matches, like The Rock versus Austin, and Austin versus Triple H. I love them matches. The Rock versus Triple H, Mick Foley versus The Undertaker in the Hell in a Cell. I mean, those matches. So these matches that stick out for me is definitely Bret Hart versus Austin is one of my favourites at WrestleMania 13. The Rock versus Austin, not the first one because he did three, they did trilogy. The second one, it was in Houston. That WrestleMania, the best WrestleMania of all time, and most people will agree with me. WrestleMania 17 was the greatest WrestleMania ever. I mean, top to bottom, that WrestleMania was just off the hook. I mean, every match in there. Yeah, the TLC matches between Edge, Christian, Dudley Boyz and the Hardy Boys definitely on my radar. That what is it? That match with Triple H and Austin, that 3 Stages of Hell match. That was fucking mad. I was thinking, when's that gonna stop? Because they had a wrestling match and then they had a street fight. They were already fucked up after that street fight. And they fucked each other up. Then in the cage, man, they were just going at it. It must have gone on for over an hour, that match. I think they had a storyline to that. It weren't like Austin and Vince, because obviously Stone Cold's biggest rival was Vince, and then obviously on a personal level it's The Rock, because at the time Austin and The Rock, who was it, The Rock or Austin? And I was like, I don't know. You never get two guys at the same time that are as big as them two. Like The Rock is a lot different than Austin, because Austin's more of a, your typical guy, your typical working class guy, drives a fucking monster truck, fucking shoots deer, goes out hunting deer, fucking drinks beer, don't give a fuck your boss, just like anyone wants to do. Like, fuck your boss, who gives a shit, I fucking hate. Stand up to your boss. It's like everything you want to do, like Austin did. That's why it's so great what he did to McMahon, because that's what everyone wants to do to the boss or to the teacher at school or anyone who's in authority. You want, like, fuck you, like, to the government or anyone. It's just like Austin did it and he got away with it, and it was just hilarious with the Stooges and everything. But yeah, that 3 Stages of Hell match with Triple H was one of my favourite matches of all time. The Undertaker versus Kurt Angle. I'm not sure when Kurt Angle, not when Kurt Angle first came in. It was actually he was bald because he cut his hair. And he had a match with the Undertaker. I can't remember what fucking pay-per-view it is, but it's a fucking great match. Obviously, that Hell in a Cell match between Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, that's up there with one of my favourites of all time. Ric Flair. Woo! Woo! Ric Flair definitely in the Ric Flair Ricky Steamboat match. They had 3 classic ones then. Ric Flair versus Ricky Steamboat. Check that out. I think it's not Starcade, but the Chi-Town Rumble or something. Yeah, man, I know my wrestling, believe me. I used to be obsessed with it. That triple threat match between Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins and John Cena. That was a recent one, not a recent one. That's when I last really watched it. I think Seth Rollins is like kind of like Shawn Michaels type caliber, and that was just a great match. If you watch that triple threat match, that's one of my favourite matches. Obviously, the Iron Man match between The Rock and Triple H, they had some crazy rivalry. I mean, Triple H now, I think he's taken over, hasn't he? I'm not sure. I don't know. Is Vince still alive? Maybe. But yeah, Triple H is kind of like the CEO, isn't he now? Did everything with NXT. Yeah. But yeah, Triple H back in the day was a great fucking heel. I don't care what anyone says. Triple H, I dug him. Because when I watched him, where he had that, Rikishi ran over Austin. And I always thought, because Austin took a year off, I think because of his neck, and that's when The Rock became the number one guy and Triple H became the number one heel. I remember that. I think it was in 2000. And Austin comes back, so we need a solid storyline for Austin. He's like, who's run over? Because he gets run over at the previous Survivor Series. It's like, who run over Austin? I'm like, fucking going into Sherlock Holmes mode, detective mode. And it's Rikishi, and I'm like, fucking shot like fucking Rikishi. Like, I thought it would always be Vince or The Rock. That would have made sense. The Rock to turn heel. But Rikishi did it, but then after that he had an alibi. As Austin started getting attacked week after week, got hit by a pipe, the fucking big fucking container came down off the roof and he dodged it. I'm thinking, who's doing that? And I thought it would be The Rock. But then it became Triple H hitting with the sledgehammer. And that's just the heelish shit. And he did a promo. And it all made sense to me because when Austin got run over, he actually attacked Austin while he was doing that interview. And he ran away and that's how he got run over. So I was like, yeah, that does make sense. And Triple H was always like the number one suspect in that. And obviously Triple H was the number one heel. But that interview is one of my favourite heel interviews ever. Where he explains it. I think it's on SmackDown and he explains it. He's like, Austin, now you know, you son of a bitch. And like that, just that evilness, like that's a real fucking heel. Like Triple H was like evil. Triple H was like kill you type of thing. That's why they called him the Cerebral Assassin. So he just wanted Austin to fuck him up. I was like, Austin, fuck this guy up, because I was only a kid. I knew it weren't real, but I was like, Austin, please kill Triple H for doing this. I can't wait till Austin gets his hand on Triple H. And yeah, he got him up with that forklift, I think, and fucking dropped him off that forklift. That was great. That were the days of I love wrestling then, back then, when it was all like, cause you just had authentic characters. You had The Undertaker. That's always been the greatest gimmick. You had, WCW in the when NWO was happening. What the kind of I think there's the backstage politics. I've read The Death of WCW. I think the backstage politics with people getting greedy and that, and then the head writer of Raw, SmackDown, what is it, Vince Russo, came there and really fucked it up. And to this day, if you're Jim Cornette, he just fucking obsessed, so unhealthily obsessed. I think every day of his life he gets up in the morning saying, fuck Vince Russo, I want to kill Vince Russo, I want to piss on his grave, stay alive enough to piss on his grave. Believe me, Jim Cornette, a failure, because that's why I want to stop drugs and stay alive. And people would be like, I don't know, because I want to wait until my dad is dead so I don't have to kill him. And when he dies, I am going to go out of my way to piss on his fucking grave and let fucking Hershey or any dog shit on his grave. Shit there, and I ain't picking it up. Yeah. And you're thinking, why? I hate that word. How come I said that? I don't know. But yeah, that were the great days in wrestling. So I'll recommend a couple of matches for you. I'll recommend 5, which is in my 5 favourites. Austin vs The Rock, WrestleMania 17. Triple H versus Austin. I think it was the pay-per-view before that. No Way Out 2001. 3 Stages of Hell. Austin versus Bret the Hitman Hart, WrestleMania 13. Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio at Halloween Havoc. And there's a match between Benoit and Angle that I really love. It weren't the first matches they had. They had a couple of first matches, but I think it's at a Royal Rumble, and they have just such an incredible fucking match. The technical wrestling in that match is great. So I recommend if you watch wrestling, them 5 matches. Even if you're not a fan, you gotta appreciate the theatre of it all. But yeah, I stopped watching wrestling a long time ago. I've dipped and dabbed. Like, I watched it briefly when that great triple threat match happened with Lesnar and Rollins and Cena. And then I saw what they're doing with Roman Reigns, and I thought that. And before that, it was like when that WCW invasion thing. It was when that happened, basically, when WWF bought WCW. That's when I stopped watching, because the storylines were shit. I mean, Austin turned heel, and that doesn't make any sense because Austin was always a heel. And basically, you can't boo Austin no matter what he does. So that just didn't make any sense to me, so I kind of stopped watching it then. That's when it started going downhill. But anyway, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself, my brain, my body. It needs to be put in check. And here is I don't know. And this is not much of a meditation. Hopefully in the next installment of I don't know, as I'll speak and then let it sink in, and then be like, I don't know, kind of thing. Anyway, stay present, stay calm, and fuck off. And why I said that is I don't know.